Marcus Rivera stood just 5 feet 6 inches, weighing around 130 pounds. At 17, he looked younger than most, and his quiet presence made him nearly invisible in the bustling halls of Westfield High. His shaggy dark hair often fell over his eyes that noticed everything yet gave nothing away. He had joined the school just 3 months ago, and most students still didn't know his name. But behind the silence was a history no one expected. Marcus had trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu since the age of 9 under his father, a former UFC fighter. Underneath the baggy sweatshirts he wore was a frame sculpted through years of discipline, drills, and combat training. His quiet wasn't fear, it was restraint. Every morning, Marcus reminded himself to just survive the day. Westfield had nearly 2,000 students, most of whom had grown up together. Being the new kid was isolating enough. Being small and reserved made him an easy mark. And the first to mark him was Kyle Brennan. A 6 feet 2 inches linebacker with the confidence of someone who'd never had to face the consequences of his actions. Backed by his friends Jake, a wrestler, and Tommy, a lanky basketball player, Kyle ruled through mockery and fear. It began with shoulder bumps, rude nicknames, and laughing whispers. Marcus, true to his father's teachings, stayed calm. A real fighter, his father said, only acts when all other options vanish. But each day got harder. Marcus dealt with cruel pranks, like his locker being plastered with nasty notes, and food accidentally spilled on him in the cafeteria. Basketballs aimed at his head during gym became a regular occurrence. Kyle seemed obsessed with getting a reaction. "What's with this kid?" he once muttered. "Doesn't he feel anything?" Marcus did, but he buried it deep. Then came the tipping point. A Tuesday in late October, Marcus was headed to chemistry when he saw Kyle and his friends blocking the stairwell. He hesitated but forced himself to keep walking. "Hey, mouse boy," Kyle called. Jake stepped into Marcus's path. "Kyle asked you something, freak," he sneered. "I'm fine," Marcus said quietly, trying to move past. "Oh, the mouse speaks," Kyle shouted mockingly as a crowd began to form. "What's wrong? Too good to talk to us," added Tommy. Then, with a subtle signal, Jake stuck his foot out as Marcus walked forward, tripping him. His books scattered, and he tumbled toward the stairs. Years of jiu-jitsu training kicked in. Marcus twisted midair, braced for impact, and rolled as he landed. It didn't stop the laughter or the camera phones. Lying on the ground, surrounded by humiliation, something shifted inside him. He rose, not angrily, but with a quiet, deliberate grace. As he stood and collected his things, Kyle continued taunting. "Clumsy little freak," he laughed. Marcus finally looked Kyle in the eye. "My name," he said in a voice that cut through the noise, "is Marcus Rivera." For the first time, Kyle took a step back. "Tomorrow. After school. Back lot behind the gym," Marcus said clearly. "Just you and me." Kyle blinked, caught off guard. "You serious?" Marcus just looked at him. "It's your choice," he said, turning and walking away. By the end of the day, the whole school was buzzing. Marcus Rivera had challenged Kyle Brennan. Whispers followed Marcus in the halls now, speculation, curiosity, disbelief. That evening, Marcus trained in his garage gym. His father, Roberto Rivera, stood watching as Marcus moved through drills. "Something happened," Roberto said. "I challenged someone," Marcus replied. "They've been pushing me for months. I'm done staying silent." His father nodded. "Once they see what you can do, there's no going back." The next day, students gathered in the back parking lot after school. At exactly 3:30, Marcus arrived, still in jeans and hoodie. Kyle showed up later, dressed like he was ready for a real fight, flanked by Jake and Tommy. "Last chance to apologize," Kyle said with a grin. Marcus didn't flinch. No, he answered simply. Kyle lunged, expecting an easy win. But Marcus sidestepped, grabbed Kyle's arm, and used his momentum against him. In a flash, Kyle was slammed onto the pavement. The crowd gasped. Kyle scrambled up, angrier now, swinging wildly. Marcus ducked, grabbed his waist, and took him down again with a clean double-leg takedown. This time, he held him there, pinning him effortlessly. Jake rushed forward to help, but Marcus anticipated it, catching Jake's leg and flipping him onto the ground. In seconds, Marcus had Jake in a triangle choke while still controlling Kyle beneath him. Gasps and murmurs spread. "He's got both of them," someone whispered. Tommy took a cautious step forward but froze when Marcus looked up. That look said enough. Jake started turning red from the choke, so Marcus let him go. He stood, calm, composed, and looked down at Kyle. 8 years of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he said evenly. My father is Roberto Rivera. Maybe you've heard of him. A student Googled it, eyes going wide. Oh my God, he's the Snake Rivera. He was a UFC fighter. Marcus turned to the crowd. If anyone has a problem with me, talk to me directly. And if you think bullying is fun, he glanced at Jake, you just saw how it ends. With that, he picked up his backpack and walked away. The crowd parted, phones still rolling. Wait. Kyle called out, his voice small now. I'm sorry. For everything. Marcus paused. You were just being a bully, he replied, but you can choose to be something else. And he walked away. The aftermath was immediate. The fight video spread across social media. Students who'd never noticed Marcus now approached him with respect, even admiration. Kyle's reputation was shattered. And Kyle himself? He changed. 3 days later, he found Marcus alone in the library. Can I sit? He asked. Marcus nodded. Thanks, Kyle said. For not hurting me worse. For stopping when you could have done more. His voice was low, honest. I talked to my girlfriend. She said she was ashamed to be with me. I talked to my dad. He was ashamed of me too. You should be, Marcus said simply. I want to change, Kyle whispered. I don't know how. Start by apologizing. To everyone, Marcus said. And think about why you needed to hurt people to feel powerful. Over the next few weeks, Kyle kept his word. He joined the school's peer mediation program, started volunteering, and apologized to those he'd bullied. Jake and Tommy didn't bother Marcus again, or anyone else. And the sight of Marcus's father visiting school now and then was enough of a reminder that real strength didn't need to prove itself. And as for Marcus? The boy who was once invisible now walked the halls with quiet confidence. Not because he'd won a fight, but because he'd finally been seen.